Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, I got stuff stacking up over here on the bench again, so we're going to do an odds and ends episode today, share with you guys some new tools and things that have come into the shop. We've got some purchases, we got some viewer mail, we've got just a combination of things over here that we're going to go through, and it's pretty interesting stuff. So y'all hang in there and let's see what's all new in the shop. So up first here, I got a really cool viewer mail gift here. This came from Robert Barden out in California, and I was really surprised. He told me he was going to send me something. I didn't know what it was until it showed up, and when I got a couple of pretty big boxes in the mail, I was like a little kid at Christmas opening this stuff up. This is awesome. So what we got here is a big, heavy-duty, large-size tap and die set. For all intent purposes, the die stock here is it's a Greenfield tap and die, a little giant set. Came with 4 dies, which is was this 1 3/8 6 coarse thread, 1.5 inch 6 coarse thread, 1 1/8 7 coarse thread, and this one was 1 1/4 7 coarse thread, and this one here is actually missing the inserts, the actual cutting die, so I need to try to find those little inserts. These are replaceable. Probably can get on eBay and hopefully find a new old stock set somewhere. But very nice heavy duty die set. Now the tap wrench back here, this is made by SKC, and SKC, I wasn't real familiar with them. I looked them up, and they're actually a Japanese company. Make some nice quality tools, and this is more or less the equivalent, I believe, of a Greenfield tap and die number 24 tap wrench. So tap handle, whatever you want to call it. And of course this one is not made by Greenfield, but by SKC. Does the same thing, and it's in great shape. You know, the casting on this is a little bit rougher, I think, than what you normally would see with Greenfield, but again, it's fully functional. And you know, I haven't had the need too many times to turn a tap that big. that takes some muscle right there. But this thing right here ought to get the job done. Anyway, I'm excited to have these because there have been some times, particularly at the museum, where we've needed to do some big threading like this, and didn't really have a way to do it with a die stock. You know, pretty much had to do it on the lathe or something like that. And sometimes for just cleaning up threads and so forth, really nice to have this. And then also for running those big taps, you got to have something like this. So anyway, thank you very much, Robert, for sending these along. These are greatly appreciated and will be very nice additions to the shop. And thank you very much. In my last odds and ends, I shared with you guys some of the things that I picked up over at the Flywheelers tractor show and swap meet back about a month or so ago. And there were a couple items I told you I had left in Lance Baltzley's truck down there. And I was back down in Gainesville, Florida a week or so ago, and hooked up with Lance and picked these up from him. So basically what we got here is, number one, is a set of nice heavy hold down clamps. These are for basically using on the mill machine for clamping down stuff, really heavy duty things. And I found this over on a guy's table. He wanted $6 a piece for them, and those are nice to have around. The other thing that was kind of neat was this oil stone. This was a Norton hard Arkansas oil stone. I found it on the table. It was in the box. The box was in pretty bad shape when I found it, but when I opened up the box, it had a really nice stone on the inside here. And I'll tell you that when I looked at it, it wasn't quite this nice, guys. It was in decent shape, but I mean, it was used, it was oily, it was greasy, whatever. But Lance, as you guys may remember, he's the guy that does the precision ground stones that he sells or what have you. 26acremaker.com is where he has those up for sale. But he took this out to the surface grinder and basically precision ground it and cleaned this thing up for me. That was not the plan when I accidentally left the stone in his truck, but Lance kind of went over the top there and did that. He also did some work to the box. The bottom of the box was basically coming out, and he got some adhesive paper in there and redid the box so it's back together. So now I got a beautiful Arkansas oil stone there in the box, And this thing here, I paid $2 for. I was really excited when I saw that because that's a nice little oil stone, particularly in the box like that. Anyway, thought I'd share those with you real quick. So up next here, we got some books, and these were actually given to me by David Sims, and David actually stopped by the shop. Him and his wife were headed back from Florida. They actually lived down over in South Carolina, and they were headed back home, and he sent me an email, asked if he could come by, wanted to bring some books to me, and David actually spent much of his career in the merchant marine and doing some, and I think also in the Navy, and he actually worked on steam engines, naval steam engines back in his earlier days. And he had some steam-related books, and as he's getting closer to retirement, he's looking for a home for these where they will be appreciated. He said his kids probably just throw this stuff away, and he wanted it to go to someplace where it will be appreciated, and I love these old books. So a couple of things here. These first one here are 2-volume set, verbal notes and sketches. This is all on for Marine engineer officers, a manual for Marine steam engineering practices. So 2-volume set here, just some absolutely wonderful information here on Marine steam engines. Has a lot of steam stuff just in general in here. And the books are in decent shape. So got those. Practical treatises on the steam engine indicator. So we've shown an indicator before. This is used for testing a steam engine and seeing how the valves are set and so forth. I wouldn't mind finding an indicator sometime to play around with. I think they're pretty cool. I had one that I borrowed from a guy one time that I did play around with, and anyway, it's just a neat little tool. You hook it up mechanically to the steam engine, and it will kind of draw a map showing, kind of like this right here, showing where the valves are set in relationship to the pressure and so forth. And you can really analyze and fine-tune a steam engine using an indicator. Here's a drawing showing some of those drawings that it actually makes with the indicator. And you can see like this is a nice balanced engine. This is one where one side's not, the valve's not set right. So anyway, just a book on how to use that. Let's see, this one is Shafting, Belting, and Governors. So this one is kind of cool to me too, for line shaft stuff. Like if you got a shop set off of a line shaft, this is all kinds of information about setting up line shafts properly, alignments, just the whole 9 yards. And that's kind of information that's getting hard to find this day and age because there's not a whole lot of line shafts still out there, but that's something that, again, I like to mess around with. And preventative maintenance of electrical equipment. And anyway, I haven't looked at this one too much, but it's got all kinds of electrical equipment in here and doing, as it says, preventative maintenance on motors and equipment and so forth. So anyway, some nice additions to the library. I will take these up to the house, get them properly stored, and we'll have them as references down the road. I love this kind of old technical information, guys. It's fun for me to look through it and learn. Next item here, we got some magic squares. These are some pretty cool little items that come from Fireball Tool. Jason over there came up with this really cool idea, and I've got a fabricating job coming up pretty soon. I really feel like these are going to come in handy because I'm going to be needing to weld some stuff at some angles. And these, you can basically adjust these to different angles. They go pretty much from straight up and down to any angle. You got angle on that side, you got angles on this side that you can do. So you can really do a lot of different cool angles in here and be able to clamp your metal together at whatever angle you need. So I got one in cast iron and one in aluminum. I needed 2 of them, and got one of each type here just to play around and see. The other squares I have from him are all the cast iron ones. But anyway, looking forward to giving these a try. And like I said, I got some fabricating coming up. Hopefully going to be doing some videos on that pretty soon, and you will see these in action when we get around to doing that. But these are pretty handy. I can see me using these on all kinds of things in the shop, not just for fabricating, but even doing some machinery setups and so forth like that. I think they're going to be really a handy addition to the shop. If you're interested in these, you can go check them out. Fireball Tool, I think it's fireballtool.com. You can search for Fireball Tools and should come up on the internet, but they've got a lot of really cool things out there if you like those. Thought I'd do a quick little follow-up on my Beverly shear restoration that we did. We did a video series on this, or a video on restoring this a while back. This was another item that I picked up over at the Flywheelers swap meet and did a restoration on it. Came out great, but I wanted to show the tag. You know, my buddy Tom Utley has gotten into business of making reproduction tags for people who are doing restoration work. And when I got it, it had a tag on it, but the tag was pretty worn. The resolution was pretty much shot on it. I mean, we probably could have done a restoration on that tag, but it never would have really looked just right. It was worn in a couple places down to where the raised up part was just not there anymore. But Tom took this and I sent this to him. He digitally recreated it, and using his etching process, he made me a new tag here out of brass, and came out just looking absolutely wonderful. So I had a bunch of people. I posted some pictures on Instagram and on my Facebook page of this. Had a lot of people saying they were wanting to get a new tag for their shears. So you can contact Tom over at VintageMachinery.org, and he has got the stuff. He can make these up, no problem at all. He's got everything he needs to do them now. All the files are created, so you can contact him if you'd like to purchase one, or if you need to have any type of custom tag made for a restoration you're doing. Tom is the man. He can help you out with it. So anyway, I thought I'd share that real quick. Next item here was an eBay purchase. Actually, a viewer of mine pointed this auction out to me, which I greatly appreciate. This is something I've been kind of keeping an eye out for a while, but really just hadn't found one like I wanted. And what we're looking at here is a very, very nice, practically brand spanking new spray welding setup here. So if you ever seen, I know Adam Booth does this some, where you have like a worn shaft or something and you want to build the metal back up. You hook this thing up to a torch, you put some powderized metal in here, and it basically just spray welds on metal that then you can go back in and machine down to whatever size. And guys, this thing here, from what I can tell, this kit was sold back in the early 1970s, and it's hardly been used. I mean, I think it may have been used a time or two. And down here in the bottom, it's got all this spray metal, different grades or whatever. I haven't even figured out exactly what all's in here. Most of these bottles, like this one right here, it's still got the seal on it. It's never even been opened. There's only a couple of the bottles that have even been opened up. So anyway, I mean, there's the carbide cutters for cutting. When you, like if you're doing on the lathe, you want to put a little scratch mark in there, kind of like a little thread for it to kind of stick to. It's got the carbide cutters. Never even been used, it looks like. At least those haven't. Got a temperature pin in here for checking the temperature of the metal, and you can tell they've used it a time or two, but I don't think this thing's been used more than once or twice. And anyway, it was up on eBay, and it still has all the original literature, all the you can kind of see the picture there of someone spray welding. You can see they're coming in here, you put the bottle on the top, the flame comes out and it goes over onto the metal. You heat the metal up first to a temperature, and then the powderized metal sticks to that, and then you can build that up and machine it back down. So anyway, I'm excited to have this. It'll be definitely a nice addition to the shop, and I don't know when I'm going to need it, but it's one of those things I just couldn't turn it down. Shipping and everything on this, I think I got about $250 in it, which I thought was a really, really good deal any day of the week. So anyway, nice addition to the shop. And I won't mention the name of the viewer, but to the viewer that pointed this out to me, thank you also for doing that. He actually had two of them, I think he told me, and he saw this, he says, hey, that's something you probably need to look at. And I watched the auction and ended up selling at a decent price. So, hey, what can I say? I bought it. Next item here, this is, I guess you could say we were doing some horse trading on this one. A viewer had contacted me, had these taps, these Acme taps, and Thomas Fleming, and he was actually needing a little job done in the machine shop, and we worked out a deal. I haven't done the job yet, but he went ahead and sent along the the parts here, and he also sent some material. It's actually going to be a job with some tool steel. He wants me to make a little tool for him that's going to require doing some machining, then hardening it in my oven, and then grinding it to a specific angle, a little jig he's wanting me to make. So that's going to be a project I need to get done down the road. But these taps, these are Acme taps, and the first one up here, this is 1¼ inch, 4. Yeah, 4 threads per inch, inch and 3/4, excuse me, 4. This one here, it says it's an Acme tap on the shaft, but if you look at the profile, it doesn't look deep enough. This looks like stub Acme, or it could be that with this big of a diameter that they had 2 taps, one that did the first half, and then you went through with the second one that took it to the final depth, because that's turning a lot of material on that diameter in that pitch. Either way, it'll be nice to have that. These down here, this is a left hand and a right hand combination, and this is 7/8 6, so 7/8 inch diameter, 6 threads per inch. Interestingly, we just did recently the 7/8 4 Acme internal threads that I had to single point cut on the lathe because I couldn't find, at least at a reasonable price, a 7/8 4 Acme tap, and now I got a pair of the 7/8 6 in left and right hand. So I'm going to add these over to my tap collection. These are things that, again, when I've come across these Acme taps like this, I usually try to get them and just have them, because every now and then you have a job that comes up and you need them. In fact, my buddy Adam Booth down in Pensacola contacted me a while back, and he had a job. He was looking for a specific left-hand Acme tap for a job he needed to do, and I checked over here, and lo and behold, I had the right tap in the drawer, so I put that down in the mail to send down to him. He borrowed it to do a quick job. So it's just nice to have this kind of tooling around, and I just try to keep what I have, or keep what I can find, so that when you have a need for it, you may have a chance of having what you need. So anyway, thank you very much for seeing these along, and I'll be looking forward to working on that project in exchange for these very soon. So guys, next item here, this is a little milling table that you can adjust the angle on the top. So this is on a kind of a radius, and you can roll it over on either side and clamp work down here if you need to do milling at some kind of strange angle. And I actually had a need, I got a job coming up where I was going to need something like this, and I had posted over on Facebook that I was looking for something like this. If anybody had one they wanted to sell, seeing if someone had a use one or what have you. And viewer saw that and said, I got something, I'm going to send it to you. And lo and behold, this is basically, for all intent and purposes, a brand spanking new tilting top table. And I thought I was going to be purchasing it from him, and he told me he was going to send me a total and everything on it. Turned out he ended up just giving it to me, so I was just blown away by that. But anyway, I've got a job coming up very soon that I've actually been needing to get done for a while, and I haven't had the tooling to do this. But now I've got it, so I don't have any excuses. I need to get that job knocked out. So you'll probably see this coming up in an upcoming machining video, doing some angle milling. And I got to cut kind of like a dovetail, but it's an oddball angle. And so we're just going to actually tilt the work to the angle that we need, and then just run it straight up and down. And this table here is plenty big enough for me to be able to clamp onto, and I can then just clamp this down to my milling machine. So anyway, didn't want me to mention his name, so I'm not going to do that, but I'll just say, well, Aaron, we'll just leave it at that. Aaron was the guy who did this, and Aaron, thank you very much. I'll just leave it at that. And anyway, thanks a lot. This is going to be a great addition to the shop, and like I said, I got a job waiting to be used on. I want to show you guys these arbor racks that I recently just picked up. These were made by Paul over at ZT Fab, and Paul has made a bunch of different kind of racks. He makes welding carts, all kinds of neat little shop items, and I had purchased some racks from him before to hold TIG tubes, to hold my grinders, and some other things like that. But a couple of months ago, I had an idea for a rack to hang horizontal mill machine arbors on, where I could get them up on the wall, and get them kind of off of a shelf where they're less likely to get damaged or the arbors bent or anything like that. So I contacted Paul and kind of sent him a couple of sketches of what I was after, and he was very willing to work with me to design and build these racks to hang building machine arbors on. And I'm pretty happy with what we did. This is the second version of what we've done. The first one, he made one, sent it to me. I tried it out, and we decided we need to make a few little modifications to it. This is version 2.0, and I'm pretty happy with these. I actually sent him a couple of very minor modifications that I'm going to recommend he makes when he starts selling these to folks. But I'm happy with mine the way they are, and we're just going to go with them. But all in all, I'm really pleased with these. This is exactly what I was after. These racks are in here where the arbors sit in there. There's a little lip here that kind of keeps it from falling out the front, so it stays in there. So unless somebody really bumps into it pretty hard, you don't really have to worry about those arbors coming out. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with those. I got those kind of mounted on the wall back behind my horizontal mill where they're now out of the way, and I'm using some wall space that I wouldn't normally even be using. In fact, I'll kind of zoom out a little bit, and you can see where they are actually back behind my milling machine, very much out of the way. So anyway, I don't know how much he's going to be charging for these yet. We worked out a deal on these, but check out his website. I'll put a link down in the description below. If he doesn't have these posted up there yet, they are kind of a new item. So if they're not posted yet, just send him an email, because he's got the plans. He can make these up, and I'm sure that he'll be glad to work with you to get some if it's something you could use in your shop. So Paul, thanks a lot for your help in this. It's a fun little project to work with you to kind of collaborate to design these things. And as usual, you just make an outstanding product that works well and looks well also. So anyway, thank you very much. Well, guys, I got a couple little things I want to cover before we wrap this video up. I got some events and some other little items you might be interested in. So first off, coming up here in just a couple of weeks, Saturday, April 6th, we're going to be having the annual Folklife Festival out at the Georgia Museum of Agriculture. And I get asked all the time, hey, when is a good time to come to the museum and see what's going on? If you've been watching my channel a long time, you know I do a lot of volunteer work out there. And each year in April, they have this, what we call our Folklife Festival. It's a big event. And to me, it is absolutely probably the best day all year long to come to the museum, because there's just so much going on. It's really all hands on deck, lots of activities, lots of things going on. I plan to be there working the whole day. I will be actually running the sawmill on that Saturday, the steam-powered sawmill. So I'll be down there. I'll be pretty busy, pretty tied up, but if you come by, you can probably flag me down. I can take some time and visit with folks or what have you, but we'll have the sawmill fired up and running it. Looking forward to that. We also fire the turpentine steel that weekend, which is a very unusual thing that you don't really get to see anymore. And it's about making turpentine and rosin exactly the way it would have been done many, many years ago. The museum here in Tifton has, to my knowledge, only one of two operational wood-fired turpentine stills still left running anywhere in the U.S. And we fire that up once a year and put on a demonstration on actually making turpentine. It's a very interesting process, and a lot of people get a lot out of that. Lots of other things going on. Of course, we'll have the train running that day. The whole site will be open. There'll be all kinds of exhibits, all types of demonstrations. There'll be live music being played around the site. Absolutely a wonderful day to come to the museum. So again, Saturday, April 6th. It's located in Tifton, Georgia at the Georgia Museum of Agriculture. You can check out their website. I'll put the link down here to go to the website, and you can find the details on the event. Basically just show up on that day. There's no need to purchase tickets ahead of time or what have you. Should be a good crowd, a good turnout, and it'll be a lot of fun. So unless, I know last year we had some bad storms on the day of the Folklife Festival, we had to postpone it. So I hope that doesn't happen again this year, but right now the plans are Saturday, April 6th will be that. Next thing I want to mention, I'm going to be doing something. I've had a lot of people for long time been asking me about, hey, why don't you do some t-shirts for your channel? And I've finally gotten around to putting together a t-shirt. This is going to be my first t-shirt that I really do. And I worked with John Harrell over at John Harrell Design. He's done some design work for some of the other YouTube guys. He helped me out with it. I had an idea for a design, and he kind of put something together for me. So anyway, my idea, and here's a picture of the shirt that we're going to be selling, and this will be the back side of it here, where it has our little saying here, you know, buying vintage machinery is just treatment for my iron deficiency disorder. So you guys, we kind of joked around about the reason that I keep getting all these old machines is I have iron deficiency disorder. So we decided to make a little t-shirt kind of in fun on that. And anyway, hope some of you guys will enjoy that. These are for sale. You can go over to storefrontier.com. And again, I'll put a link down in the description of the video below where you can just click on it and go straight to the t-shirt. I'm hoping that if this is a success, you know, we may offer some other designs. This design will be available pretty much indefinitely as long as I'm happy with this company that's doing these shirts. They pretty much will make them. We don't have to do like a campaign and get a bunch of them and do them. They'll make just one shirt at a time. I think they've got a process where they can print the shirts rather than having to kind of screen print them the old-fashioned way. So they can make them one piece at a time. So I can leave these up on there. You can custom order what you want pretty much any time. And again, if this is successful, maybe we'll put some other designs up there. I've got some other ideas for t-shirt designs. We have the little Vintage Machinery logo to be on the front of the shirt, kind of over the breast pocket there. And down the road, I've already had some people, I posted some pictures over on Instagram and over on Facebook, and I've had some people ask about, hey, can I just get the logo? I don't want the graphic on the back. Yeah, we're going to look at maybe doing some options like that down the road and some other designs as well. So anyway, if you're interested in the shirt, go check that out. It's a great way to help support the site here. Y'all always hate to talk about, fundraising and money and so forth, because it's the reason I do these videos is I'm trying to share information. I'm trying to show what's going on in the shop. But guys, it costs money to do this stuff. Trust me, camera equipment, time, everything else. And the little bit of money that I do get off of this kind of helps encourage me to keep on doing this. And this will hopefully be something that the t-shirt campaign will be something that will bring some funds into the shop where we can continue doing more stuff like this. And talking about funding, again, I hate to even bring the subject up, but I feel like I need to from time to time. Patreon is another great way that you can support my site here. And I know a lot of the YouTube creators out there have Patreon accounts and Patreon sites set up. This is something where you can just pledge a certain amount of money every month to go to some of your favorite YouTube creators. And guys, I would encourage you to do this, not only with myself. If you enjoy watching my channel and get something out of it, and you want to feel like you want to kick something back in, that is awesome. If you're not in a position you can't do that, or you don't want to do that, hey, it's no sweat, no big deal at all. But we make a little bit of money off from YouTube, off of ad revenue and so forth like that. But guys, I'm going to tell you the YouTube revenue for most of us, and I've talked to a lot of the other guys that are doing these videos, our views are going up and our revenues seem like they're either staying flat or going down. It's not as lucrative as it once was, and I think a lot of us are looking for other ways to kind of make this up. I know for me, how much money do you make off of a YouTube video? It ain't a whole lot. On average, I think I have to get somewhere between 5 and 10 views, and it varies. It's not a set amount. It varies from day to day, but anywhere from 5 to 10 views really just to make a penny. So, if you watch every video I put out in a month, I'm probably making maybe 1 or 2 cents from your views if you're just watching the ads, if that. So, think about, the value. And again, I'm not just saying this for myself. I'm kind of saying this for all the YouTube creators that have Patreon or some other type of way that you can give back to those. If you get value out of watching these channels and you feel like there's something, a benefit to you, consider giving something small back. And we're not talking big bucks here, guys. Typical video that I post, I'll probably get somewhere between 20 and 30,000 views. Some will get a lot more, some maybe not quite as many, but if you got a dollar for everyone, I could retire. But we're not getting anywhere close to that. But if you get enjoyment and you feel like you get benefit out of it, if you just donate $1 a month, if everybody that watches every one of my videos were to donate $1 a month, I could retire and come out here and work in the shop full time and just make YouTube videos, which would be awesome. But that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So again, guys, if you can't do it, no sweat. If you can do it, please consider making some donations. And again, not just to me, but all your YouTube guys that you watch frequently, because it does cost time and money for us to do these. And, again, I'm not doing this. Yes, I would love to retire from my full-time job and come out here and make YouTube videos. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But it would be nice to one day consider being able to do that. And with the model, the way YouTube's paying right now, I don't see that being viable for me anytime soon, unless I can make some money up on other avenues such as Patreon. Enough said on that, guys. With that, we're going to sign off on this video. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave thumbs up. Comments are always welcome. And guys, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.